I don't think a man in this country, especially in Atlanta, can manage two households on his own. I don't think so at
Why
all.
you say that?
I
Wait,
think
what do you mean by that?
because again, you living in a country where you got arguably some of the freest women on the planet. Two, there's no culture behind it. I think the reason why that may be able to take place in other countries because there's a culture that also cultivates those families, so you know what you're dealing with. Here, you talk about managing two, maybe three different houses with two, maybe three different personalities, with two, maybe three different types of families from two, maybe three different cultures. Is you're not gonna be. I don't think men can pull that off.
But if every woman knows that his task or his duty is to have all these kids with literally every gender of a woman, or sorry, every race of a woman, if the women knows that that's on what he's on a mission to do, then that goes back to, I mean, he could do whatever he want to do, whether or not it's a detriment to society. I don't really, I mean, I guess from the aspect of, is the father going to be in each of the kids' life actively and equally, which is pretty much impossible. So on that aspect, yes, it is a law, it is a negative to the community. But at the same time, if the women already know, if they're opportunists, then I feel like the men and the women, the man and the women that are choosing to sleep with him are just as guilty and just as petty and dumb and stupid.
Anybody that is foolish enough, any woman or man that is foolish enough to give somebody a child, when they say they want to have them with a bunch of different women, it is absolutely impossible for a man to effectively manage more than one household. It's impossible.
I wouldn't say more than one, but definitely seven is
Well,
more than
okay,
challenging. I wouldn't
I
say
give
more
you,
than one.
even
You
though I
can
just I still
effectively
don't think it's
manage like
possible with.
two, maybe three households, but not more than five.
Well, we got a
There's
different.
no way.
Was there? We have we still have a difference of opinion. I don't think it's. I don't think it's possible for him to effectively manage more than one at a time, at his peak ability. But you damn right. You split it between seven. It's just
Right.
stupid. Both the
But
man and the
no, but
woman that
most men
attempt to
have the
engage in something
ability.
like that is foolishness.
Most men have the ability to multitask and have the ability to put things in certain perspectives. So because of that, yes, you can manage two or three households as a man, but once you get beyond that, it becomes extremely challenging, if not, like the sister said, virtually impossible. When you get to 5, 6, 7, 8 and be effective, that's a whole nother story altogether.
Well, even when you look at it from this context, though, even if it's 2 to 3 households, one of these kids is getting more attention than the others. There's no way you cannot. There's only 24 hours in a day. That's why I'm saying it's impossible to effectively be a father to more than, unless all of your kids by these different women are living in
Bring
one
them
house.
together, right? That's why I asked. I said,
It's
well,
impossible
what's the
to
circumstances?
if they're not all if the kids, which is my primary concern in this conversation, if a man cannot have all of his children living in the same house, it is impossible for him to be an effective father to all of these kids by proxy or by logic, because one of these kids is getting more attention than the rest of them. So that's why I say I have a difference of opinion there.
And then you got to look at it from a sibling standpoint. There's a birth order thing that usually happens with siblings. The oldest, then the youngest, and things like that. And if you got all these random kids in different households, now you have all these only children. And I'm an only child. We aren't necessarily the same as children with siblings. So if you got 2 kids over there that live in the same household, but then you got an only child over here and an only child over here, putting them all in the same household or same environment for a long period of time, guess what? You're going to catch hell because you got 2 only children and 2 siblings. The 2 siblings are going to be like on team with each other, and the 2 only children are going to be like individuals. And you're going to have hell dealing with all of these personalities that are growing bigger because they are in different households, being ran by different women. That's like stupid. So whoever this dude is, I hope he does not accomplish this, and he's just a dude who ain't got no kids, who don't know the hell he talking about.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think a man in this country, especially in Atlanta, can manage two households on his own. I don't think so at all.
Why you say that?
I
Wait,
think
what do you mean by that?
because again, you living in a country where you got arguably some of the freest women on the planet. Two, there's no culture behind it. I think the reason why that may be able to take place in other countries because there's a culture that also cultivates those families, so you know what you're dealing with. Here, you talk about managing 2, maybe 3 different houses with 2, maybe 3 different personalities, with 2, maybe 3 different types of families from 2, maybe 3 different cultures. Is you're not going to be. I don't think men can pull that off.
Why,
I think he
wait,
can.
wait,
I
wait.
think a man can financially. I think
But-
there's a possibility that a man can financially handle 2 houses.
Here's the
or more
pushback.
houses.
So there's no CEOs of corporations that handle multiple employees and multiple different divisions. There's no regional directors that handle different stores or different operations around the country.
But
Like men have historically been doing this over.
I know
and
you
over
just
again.
did not.
I
know
know
you
so.
just
I
did not.
That's
absolutely did
professional,
so.
not pleasure. When you're dealing with
still, it's the
pleasure,
same-
I
it's
know
the
you
same
just
with-
did not.
It's the same. I absolutely
Israel,
did. Because
Israel.
It's the same. Hold on, sweetie. It's the same kind of concept. If you are a regional director, right? And then you have other managers that are under you, and they, let's just say it's a franchise, right? And there's stores. These stores have to be run in a certain way,
No.
and you cannot be at all the stores at one time because you're only one human being. However, if you do have structure in place, if you do have a standard in place, a system in place of sorts, and a rules and regulations, then those things can operate under a certain system, and they can all get equal attention. So it's not necessarily that they can't manage that men can't manage.
Are you poly? Are you poly?
Israel.
Are you in a poly relationship?
No.
Hold on. Again, I
could
get what
handle
you're
it if
saying.
I was, though.
I get what you're saying, but I've already addressed it. I said unless you have the cultural to back you up, then that will work. But in this scenario, I don't think in this country, most men will have the culture and the structure to even back them up to be able to do something like that. That's why I said over here in America, I don't think it's possible.
Right.
Queenie, men create culture, and men create structure. So it's your culture and it's your structure as a man. So no, but you can do it in 1 or 2. Like I said, it's challenging to go beyond that. But you can definitely do it in more than one household.
It goes back to the nature versus nurture thing. If you're not in the same household, right? Like, for example, my kids grew up under my household. We got a divorce. They stayed under my cultural control when they got with the new husband, right? They ran my system under his roof, period, because they already had that. So I'm able to run somebody in another household because I started it off. But he's talking about having babies with this woman, He's not going to start the cultural hierarchy in the household and then let them go. He's just going to have a baby over here and over here. You cannot have
now,
that
hold on. That's not
that amount of structure if you're not in the same household. You can't do it.
I want to get in in there. Go.
Thanks, Jack. So here's the issue with your analogy, Israel, right? Because I get what you're trying to get at, but here's where like the business thing doesn't really make sense. Because at the end of the day, in a corporation, when you're establishing culture, if somebody isn't fitting in it, they get replaced.
Yes.
You don't normally replace your offspring, right? Like that's not really a thing that we look at, right? And so
it's a damn good point.
The context of your analogy doesn't really fit, because you still, as a father, regardless if you have a system, you still need to be actively involved to give that child the best chances in life, system or no system.
Well, and these are children going to different schools, different school systems, different neighborhoods, different types of mamas.
JR, can I answer that without
go ahead,
talking over me? Yo, so I hear what you're saying, but you have to peep this. Islam, like my people Bismillah pointed out, Islam is like that. In Islam, what you have is you may be married and then you have a family, right? But the rules in Islam is you have to treat your other family. If you have more than one wife, you have to give them the exact same thing, the exact same way. But they don't live in the same households. They live in multiple households. So what I was speaking to, hold on, fam, let me finish. What I was speaking to was the fact that he said that you cannot as a man, he didn't think that you could, as a man, take care of more than one house and give them equal attention. And
You
I'm saying,
can't.
hold on, you absolutely can.